let me see. I got this picture here that's got the coaching carousel, as it were, right?
Yeah.
Where is it? There it is. Okay. So so we've got Cassidy, who's now in Vegas. We got Torts now in Philly. And we've got Pete DeBoer now in Dallas. The vacancies that are left: Boston, Winnipeg, Detroit. And the coaches that are left, we got Barry Trotz, which is the biggest ticket right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in talks with Nashville about like a management role.
That's interesting because I've gotten the sense that part of the negotiation process with Barry Trotz this offseason between several of the teams he's talked to has been wanting to get into management.
Yeah.
After he was done coaching, I think he wanted maybe like another 2, maybe even 3 years of coaching, but then to immediately get the promise of going into management. If he can get that immediately, especially with the place he started with Nashville,
right?
I think that makes a lot of sense. And Poyle's been there for a long time, and he's done some good work with Nashville. I think it makes sense that this might be the time to just kind of let that be that, the same way that obviously we mentioned Doug Wilson stepped down in San Jose. I think it's time.
Having Barry be like GM in waiting, basically.
Yeah, have him be like an assistant GM, be a consultant for a year, and then at the end of this next season, let him take that role over because he's such a smart guy.
Kind of like what's going on with Spets in Toronto.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. Dubas isn't going anywhere for a while, but like,
yeah, he's not going anywhere for 11 months.
Oh, come on now.
He won't go anywhere if they win a series next year, but if he doesn't, it's chips for him.
I mean, it's good to see Jason, still there too. Like we talked about it a few episodes ago. But yeah. Barry in management would be very interesting. I still want to see him.
I think it would be very interesting.
I still want to see him behind the bench somewhere for a while.
I'm really sorry for that. That was bad.
That one was wow. Speaking of chips, woo!
Ugh, that was very bad of me.
Oh, come on now, stop.
Okay, someone just shut the show off because of that, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, that's Christian levels. Wow. Shout out to you, buddy.
There's 2 coaches in that list
here
that are just not going to coach again, in my opinion.
We got vacancies in Detroit and Winnipeg and Boston. Barry, we'll see what happens with Barry Trotz. Cassidy is in Vegas. Alain Vigneault is out there.
Yeah, no. And look, I'm not saying that he can't coach again in the National Hockey League. I just don't think this year.
I don't see him as a head coach.
I see him as an interim. I see him as a guy who replaces someone mid-season.
Maybe, yeah.
And I think it's kind of, especially the health problems. I just don't see Claude Julien coaching again.
He's one of the older candidates.
Yeah. I'm fairly confident that David Quinn's going to be the coach in Boston.
Yeah.
That seems to be the direction that they're going to go.
I still think it's hilarious that he's not even in this
He's not even
graphic. He's not even in this graphic. Because he's just, yeah.
It's interesting.
It's interesting, especially coming off of TV like Torts did.
Mm-hmm. I think he's a good coach, man. I mean, he did not have a good roster.
I can see Tocchet in Detroit.
I could too. Honestly, I think Detroit, doesn't matter to me which one they go. Either Tocchet or Paul Maurice, I think, makes a lot of sense in Detroit.
Paul Maurice would be fun.
Paul Maurice is a good coach, and he's a good man. I really have a lot of appreciation for what he did stepping away. On his own, and just
his reasoning. His reasoning being feeling it out.
He was just like, I've gotten the most out of this team that I'm going to get out of them. They need a new voice. I'm going to make this decision myself. I have a hell of a lot of respect for him for that. And he's a really good coach. So I think for a young team like Detroit, I think that's a perfect fit. But I'm also not against the idea of them going with a guy like Rick Tocchet either.
I think Tockett's going to follow wherever Phil Kessel goes.
Maybe Kessel's a Red Wing.
Maybe he could go back to Boston too, because that's another free agent that's really interesting that we could talk about later.
Okay, if we're just going to go back to a team, like if he's going to sign cheap and go back anywhere, he should heavily consider going back to Toronto.
He honestly could.
Like if you're going to sign like a 1-year league min deal, which I don't think he's going to do. I think he's going to get a pretty decent amount of money. But if you're gonna say screw the money, I've made a lot of it. I want a chance to win. A return to Toronto would be kind of fun.
Return to Toronto for Kessel would be interesting, right?
And especially since we've been talking about they need to add guys who've won Stanley Cups to that locker room. He's won 2. He learned how to win at Pittsburgh.
he literally not long after he left Toronto, he started winning. It's like, of course, but man. Anyway, yeah, the carousel is really just kind of going, but it's not as much of a hot stove as it could be right now.
Yeah. I think there's some interesting
we got time.
Yeah.
We got time because even free agency is not until, another couple of weeks. But like